Hey YouTube, I was going to make a video about getting sentiment analysis and using that for financial reasons, but that video is not quite ready yet, so I'm going to push it back. And I think that's okay because recently there have been some updates in the AI industry that I think are worth talking about and are a good platform for me to talk about some issues that I think are interesting. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has been outed. We don't really know why. I don't think Sam knows exactly why either. But the things that I've heard and seen online is that it has to do with an attitude toward AI safety. As a disclaimer, I am by no means an expert. So everything you see on this channel, everything I talk about is really just self-learned, self-taught. I go and read other people's code, I fork other people's repos, I clone them, and I just fiddle around watching YouTube videos. So by no means, it's not like I have a master's in computer science, a PhD in computer science, or anything like that. This is just me as a layman who has some understanding of these concepts, voicing my own personal opinions that I don't hear talked about frequently in the discourse around the topic of the video. So the argument is that Sam Altman and the other founders who have also stepped down, some of the other founders like Brockman, who have stepped down, the criticism toward them is that they were pushing to create a product out to the market and gain a capital edge when the AI safety hadn't been fully fleshed out. And so we've seen this a lot since ChatGPT came out. There's a lot of doomers out there who see AI as this sort of existential threat to humanity. And then you have others who see it as a huge opportunity to make humanity better and solve some of humanity's biggest problems. But I think diving a little deeper on the issue of safety, I think it falls under two categories. And the first being the more conventional ideas about safety with AI, which is you have an AI who's gone rogue and hates humanity and has decided to eliminate us all, right? It's sort of a Terminator Skynet experience, right? Then you have maybe another level to that category, which is you have an AI who's misunderstood its assignment and is now debilitating resources toward humanity to fulfill that assignment. This would be the classic paperclip theory, where the AI generates a ton of paper clips, and in doing so, it burns down Africa so that it can harvest the metals to do it, right? The third thing I think that's important in that sort of category of safety would be something like this technology is open source. That means anyone, any bad actor can take that technology and use it for nefarious purposes, like image recognition, strapping a bomb to a drone, sending it out into the wild and blowing up somebody, right? You have something maybe like you create a deep fake of a political figure and spread it as propaganda to destabilize elections, right? These would be open source technologies that could be used by terrorists as well as nation states. And so there might be a safety concern about releasing this technology to just anyone. All right, and those are, I think, more legitimate discussions about safety in this technology. I think there's a lot of room for where someone can sit within that sort of spectrum of real, world affecting change. But there's like a second category when we discuss AI safety and AI ethics that I think that is a very touchy topic, and I don't even know if I have to be really careful about talking about it, I think, because at least here in the West, there is this hyper focus, almost dogmatic focus on anything that can tip power structures, especially in the context of social issues. So whether that's, AI safety by debiasing an agent toward a particular race, gender, religion, etc., etc. It does seem like maybe there wasn't enough effort on Sam's part to consider that sort of category. Because if you think about it, OpenAI has gone out on a campaign to politicians to say that this technology should be closed. They've done a lot to make sure that their AIs can't get jailbreaked, and every time that they do, they do a lot to fix it. Sam Altman himself has like a bug out house where he supposedly keeps all these things in case AI goes rogue and whatnot. So I feel like he's a figure that is aware of the that sort of first category danger. But when we get into that territory, I think it becomes a lot more difficult to align yourself with the particular people that will um, reinforce your vision for a particular technology, because the arguments around those topics can range and so broadly, and the way that you go about handling AI in context to those subjects can range so broadly that you can really have a lot of infighting, and you can have a lot of social pressures to, I think, manage your company in the way that you want to manage it versus managing it the way that society wants you to manage it. The other thing I think about is like with language models, it's just being trained on a set of data. And so there's this idea that you go through and you try to de-bias this data by changing the data that you're training the model on. But that's sort of like altering the mirror so that you like the reflection that you're seeing. I think the things that people find really disturbing about AI language models is that they mimic us so well because they're like a mirror of human nature. And my personal opinion is that human nature is inherently not as virtuous as we'd like to think we are. And so when we have to confront the fact that when we train a model on our own selves, we see something that we don't like, and that's really hard for people to witness and have to confront. What it appears to me is that ChatGPT is one of the most important, I guess, breakthroughs. And I've felt this way before, but it's not the technologies per se that's been the breakthrough. It's just the way that the product has been delivered to the market has really pushed the rest of the industry into exposing the kind of technology that they had, because Google and Meta had language models that supposedly performed better than the one that ChatGPT can do, right? Even its first ChatGPT, right? The Llama models and Google's Palm model were supposedly better models than the ChatGPT 4, and people have done studies on which ones are better and whatnot. But that's not the point of this video. The point is that the technology isn't new, but the way that the product was delivered to the market was new. And so that's what makes ChatGPT influential, and that's sort of why it's a big deal that Sam Altman, who is one of the major figures into bringing that into existence, is being pushed out. And this is kind of typical of people who innovate and bring things to the market. Steve Jobs is probably the most significant one. I think Sam Altman, something intuitively says like if he's getting pushed out because of safety concerns for the AIs, I don't think it comes from a place where it's like we're releasing the weights to ChatGPT 4 and bad actors can then use that to manipulate people. I don't think that's it at all, because OpenAI is one of the more closed off AI conglomerates out there. They don't release their weights. They don't release a lot of stuff. They're really closed off for being open AI, right? So I'm just skeptical to think that that's the category for which he's getting pushed out for. And something tells me that there's this other category that's more concerned with how is this going to disrupt the power structures and the narrative structures around certain topics. Like I said, I am by no means an expert. I am self-taught. I benefit from the open source nature of AI. I think it's great. I think, yeah, there are a lot of dangers. You're always gonna have bad actors. At the end of the day, it's just a battle between good and evil. That's my personal opinion. There's gonna be bad people who make bad AIs, and there's gonna be good people who make good AIs. And our AIs are gonna fight, and it's gonna be insane. But I think it's better to keep it open than not, Because what you could fall into is you're going to have all these giant corporations like Microsoft and whatever, Google, and they're going to go to Congress and they're going to say, this technology is far too dangerous to let out into the public. You should just let us do it and let us decide how we integrate it into society. And then sooner or later, you have this sort of feudal corporate overlords over our country that are the only ones who have access to a particular technology that could reinvent the whole way that we structure our power and the way that we live. And I don't think we should deny that from people. I think we should let good old fashioned people learn and make things and see what kind of cool shit we can build. Let me know if you'd like these more, just spontaneous commentary talks. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye.